Hello there, welcome along to another mixed martial arts conversation for Sky Sports. Looking ahead to Fabian Edwards' middleweight fight in Milan on Saturday night against Costello van Steenis, rearranged from May. Very pleased to say that Fabian joins us now from Italy. Fabian, how are you doing? How's Milan?
Milan's all right. I'm having to quarantine in my hotel at the moment, so just got a movie on and
Yeah.
gonna do a workout after this.
Do you have to quarantine after the fight coming back in as well?
I hope not. I hope not. I got a few plans, but I don't really know yet. So, but we'll find out at the end, I guess.
How good is it to be close to a fight after the past 6 months of uncertainty?
Nah, it's so good. I never thought we'd be fighting until like next year or something. So the fact that I'm fighting on Saturday is it feels good. It feels good to be back.
Yeah, do you feel with the timing, it's almost good to get it in because obviously the UK, you're out in Italy, but in the UK they've announced more restrictions. Do you sense it's a good time to get one in?
Yeah, perfect time. So, like I say, for me, the lockdown hasn't been that bad, but the fact that I haven't been able to compete has been the problem for me. So, you know what I mean? That I'm over here now and I can compete before the UK start going back on more stricter lockdown restriction.
Yeah, how's your training been? I know you've been doing some long distance running and you're doing circuits with your brother in the
Yeah.
garage. I read. How has it been in terms of conditioning over the past 6 months and getting yourself in fighting shape or staying there?
Nice. It's been good. If I'm honest, I've got a great conditioning coach, Johnny. He's been sorting me and my brother out with a lot of workouts, and I got one of my main teammates, Kieran. So we've been doing a lot of workouts in the park as well. So I haven't really slowed down, if I'm honest. You know, lockdown, they put the lockdown restriction on, but I never slowed down. I just kept going.
Yeah, make use of that exercise we were allowed to do at the early start of it as well.
Yeah.
What about Costello van Steenis, the same opponent as you're supposed to have in the spring? Does that make it easier if you had more time to focus on him and study him?
Yeah, I had that inkling in my head that they would rebook that fight because it's a fight that Bellator really wanted and it's a fight that I really wanted. So I kind of kept that in my head. So when I was training, all bits of training was aimed towards this fight. So it doesn't feel like it's been a short fight camp or anything. It feels like it's been an 8-month fight camp, if I'm honest.
Yeah, what do you make of the opponent then? He's coming off a loss, isn't he? I know you both haven't fought for 10 months, but he had that unanimous decision loss to John Salter, his second defeat. What are his strengths, his weaknesses? How do you rate him?
I just see him stiff. You know what I mean? I just see him as a stiff opponent. I don't really look at him and think he's a special fighter. You know, Bellator seems to think that, but I'm gonna go in there and Saturday and just showing that I'm sure everyone is the average Joe. So I don't really make much of him. He's a young lad. He seems fit, and that's it. I'm young and I'm fit, but I'm smarter. So I can't wait to show that.
So that sounds like a good recipe. Do you dare think about the future beyond this? We've got the Lima against Mousasi fight coming up as well for a title. Are you looking to that, or at the moment with so much uncertainty around, is it even more important just to focus on the day to day and this fight?
To be honest, I am eyeing up who's next. You know, I've looked at the likes of John Salter, who's beat Costello, because I believe he's probably next in line for the title after the Lima Mousasi fight. So I'm either looking at Mousasi and Lima or John Salter, anyone that's going to get me close to that title.
Yeah, well, good for you. And how do you see that Lima Mousasi fight?
I see that being a 5-round fight, and I'm gonna lean towards Lima because Mousasi is not a massive middleweight, so he's not gonna hold the weight advantage over Lima. And they're both very similar in their style, very flat-footed, straight, deliberate fighters. So yeah, I'm leaning more towards Lima.
You spoke in the past about your work with your brother. How important has it been training with him over the past 6 months? I suppose sharing the situation with someone.
It's been good. Like he's top 3 in the world, so you can't ask for much better than that. You know, so if someone's gonna have an input, you can't ask for a better input than having his. You know, he beat a lot of top guys, so to have him as my brother to give me all that knowledge, it's been great.
Yeah, and on Leon, he's talking about Colby Covington, isn't he? He's called him out. Do you see that happening? Yeah. Could that be a firecracker in the UFC?
I don't see why not. He's number 3 and Colby's probably number 2, number 1 now. So that's the fight that makes sense. If the UFC booked up the Burns and Usman fight, that's the fight that makes sense.
I know you're not in the same weight division right now. You've probably been asked this 100 times, but the Klitschko's in boxing would never fight each other. Have you guys ever discussed? Have you collided in the same the same organization, the same weight division? Would you be interested?
Oh no, I wouldn't. Our mum would beat us.
Yeah,
Nah, we wouldn't.
I think that's what the Klitschko said actually about their mums was the key one. What about people like Lyoto Machida? Do you see him potentially coming down into your area at some point after his defeat to Phil Davis at light heavy?
I don't think so. I think he's old now, so he don't want to cut weight no more. You know what I mean? Yeah. All the older guys that I speak to, they can't be bothered to cut weight no more. So I can't see him like coming back down to 185.
Yeah.
But if he did, that'd be great to fight a legend like that and have him underneath my belt.
And how do you feel at that weight currently? You sort of in your mid-20s now. Do you feel that it's a natural fit for a good while yet?
Yeah, it feels good. I plan to go up to light heavyweight because I train with a few light heavyweights and I feel strong and I walk around at a decent weight myself. So once it's all said and done, I would like to go up the weight class above and challenge people up there.
Well, how are you preparing psychologically for the fight and being in the different times of the COVID era? Do you expect it to be less stimulating for you, the environment on the weekend, on Saturday?
No, I think it's gonna help. If I'm honest, I think it's gonna help. Just looking me, I think I'll be a lot more locked in. I think I'll be a lot more locked in, and I'll be able to hear my corner more. And plus, the viewers at home will be able to hear the shots connect. You know, so it's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to it.
I wanted to ask you about the franchises. We've got UFC, we've got Bellator and MMA, and traditionally UFC has been a bit dismissive of Bellator, but some interesting comments from Pitbull surrounding Michael Chandler being recruited into the UFC situation. And he's saying that actually it indicates that Bellator is on the rise. How do you feel about that? Because you obviously got the interaction with your brother who's in the UFC. Do you feel that Bellator is generally getting a stable now to be competitive?
No, I really do. I really do. I think we've got a lot of top guys over here that if they were to go into that other promotion and challenge, there'll be a lot of the top guys as well. But it's just that's just what's surrounding the sport. People just think UFC got the greatest fighters in the world, whereas there's a lot of different promotions that's got great fighters and they would do very well. So people that say that, they just, I don't know. I don't really pay a lot of attention to people that say that. You know what I mean? Because I just see that as disrespect to myself. If I went over there, I'll batter a lot of the guys. You know what I mean? So I don't really pay a lot of attention to it.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, that's a good approach. How do you see the early stages of the fight at the weekend? Do you expect any ring rust in terms of kind of the sparring? Have you been sparring? Have you finally tuned with all that?
Oh yeah, no ring rust at all for me. No, like none for me. I'm gonna start. He's gonna start fast, and my gas tank is full. Like I've been running a lot of 10 milers, whereas before I didn't used to do that. So my cardio is in a place where it's never been before. So I feel great. I see myself finishing it in the second round because it's gonna be a fast pace in the first round, and the second round stoppage for myself.
Yeah, and having that undefeated record, does that still fill you with confidence at this stage? Because obviously he is coming off a loss, and he knows psychologically that that's a possibility.
When I go in there, I don't think about the records. I never walk in the cage and think about my record. I just walk in there and think about getting him out there, whoever it is. So the records, and I've been undefeated since I've started. I've never thought about being undefeated. I've always gone there and just treat each fight as they are. You know what I mean? I want to win everything, so I'm just treating each fight as my first fight, and my first fight I want to win.
And how do you see yourself finishing it then? Do you think it's going to be a knockout or a submission? What are you expecting?
I see it being a TKO stoppage. I watched a few of his fights. It's been dropped a few years ago, but it's been dropped by lesser men than myself. So I'm gonna go over there and put some tasty shots on him, and let's see how he handles that.
So when you get back, you get a break in the UK or wherever you are. What do you sort of see the next few months going? When would you like to be out again potentially? So you talked about the matchups at the top.
Well, Bellator got a show on the 1st and the 3rd in Milan, so I'm gonna see if I can stay over here for extra week.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. I'm gonna see if I can stay for extra week, and if I can fill in on the card anywhere, because I've been missing for 10 months, and I'm an active fighter, so I would like to get 1 or 2 more in.
Yeah, really? You go that soon though? In October?
That soon.
Wow.
That soon. You know what I mean? Like I compete a lot in the amateurs and so in the pro. I do a lot of fighting in a short amount of time, so I'm ready to go.
And is that sort of an urgency you've always had? You mentioned the amateurs, or is it because of the situation now? You just think, right, let's get the pedal down.
Oh no. Just when I first started, I had 7 fights in 9 months. You know, so that's almost a fight a month. Whereas some guys don't have three a year. So
Yeah.
I'm a very active fighter, and I like to keep it that way.
And a Bellator keen to get you back in, all being well with you physically and fitness?
I think so. I think there would be. You know, that was the main thing when I signed with them about keeping me active. And last year they got me 4 fights, which was the most fights on the Bellator Europe scene. You know,
Yeah.
so I had 4 fights in 10 months, and I like to see if I can get 3 fights in 3 months.
Well, yeah, it's not bad. When do you, at that pace, when do you expect to be a world champion? Then when do you see that happening?
I see me being after this fight, a fight away. You know, it all depends who I'm challenging next. If I'm challenging John Slaughter, then I'll be fighting for the title after him. You know, so it all just depends on the name that I fight next.
Yeah, and you feel you're getting better each time.
Yeah, you know, like I was saying to my teammate, it just felt like this camp has been a lot more smarter. I used to train I still train like a madman, but I used to train like a madman. You know, and you know when you first start, you don't really know what's what, so you just go crazy. So I've got a lot smarter now, and I'm understanding the game a lot more, and now to use my skills. So yeah.
Yeah, not overtraining is that key to being able to fight regularly, because in a sense, people want to run 10 miles a day, but that can be draining and leave you gassed in the arena.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a my coaches are always like, you sure you don't need to rest? You know what I mean? I'm like, nah, I'm all right, you know. So, but I've got a good balance now where if I feel like my body's tired and I need the rest, I'll have the rest, you know. So I got a lot of smart people around me that give me good advice. So it's an important thing, you know, not to overtrain, but it's a fine line, because as fighters, got that mentality of I can do more. You know what I mean? I can do a bit more. So it's a hard one to judge.
Well, Fabian, really appreciate your time, especially speaking so close to the fight. Best of luck in the build-up and on Saturday night as well.
All right, thank you. Thanks for taking time out.